The laughter hit me first. Cold. Sharp. It echoed in the courtroom. A sound I'll never forget. It wasn't just a chuckle. It was full-blown mocking laughter. And it was aimed right at me. I stood there, small and alone at the defendant's table. My hands were clammy. My heart felt like a trapped bird beating against my ribs. I'd just told my truth, the only defense I had. And they were laughing. The two police officers, the ones who arrested me, they were almost doubled over. Even the prosecutor had a smirk playing on his lips. I looked at the judge, hoping for, I don't know, something. Some sign of fairness. But his face was like stone. It all started a few months back. Life was okay. Not perfect, but mine. I had a decent job as an administrative assistant at a big import-export company downtown. Henderson, my boss, was usually fair, if a little distant. I mostly kept to myself, did my work, paid my bills. I wasn't looking for trouble. Trouble found me anyway. One Tuesday, Mr. Henderson called me into his office. He looked stressed, more than usual. "Sarah," he said, his voice tight. "There's been a discrepancy. A valuable shipment, diamonds, seems to have gone missing from the vault." My blood ran cold. Diamonds? We handled all sorts of goods, but diamonds were rare, and always under high security. "Missing?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. He nodded, not meeting my eyes. "The police are on their way. They'll want to talk to everyone who had access." Access, that included me. I had a key to the outer office of the vault area for filing shipping manifests, not the vault itself, but close enough, I guessed. Fear prickled my skin. I hadn't done anything, but I knew how these things could look. Especially for someone like me. A black woman, no connections, no powerful family to back me up. The police arrived. Two officers, Detective Miller and Officer Peterson. Miller was the older one, bulky, with a sneer already settling on his face. Peterson was younger, eager, watching Miller for cues. They questioned everyone. But their focus, it zeroed in on me pretty quickly. "You were working late Monday, weren't you, Sarah?" Miller asked, his eyes like chips of ice. "Yes," I said. "I had to finish the quarterly reports." "Anyone see you leave?" My heart sank. "No, I was the last one in my section." They searched my desk, my locker, then they asked to search my apartment. I knew I should say no, ask for a lawyer. But I was scared. I hadn't done anything. What did I have to hide? That was my mistake. A big one. They tore my small apartment apart. It was humiliating. And then, Officer Peterson called out from my bedroom. "Well, well, what have we here?" He walked out holding a small velvet bag. My stomach dropped to my feet. I'd never seen that bag before in my life. Miller opened it. Inside, nestled on the velvet, was a diamond necklace. A stunning, expensive-looking necklace. "Recognize this, Sarah?" Miller's voice was triumphant. Tears welled in my eyes. "No. I've never seen it before. That's not mine." They didn't believe me. Of course they didn't. Why would they? The arrest was a blur. The cold handcuffs. The ride in the police car. The fingerprinting. The mugshot. Each step felt like I was sinking deeper into a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. They put me in an interrogation room. Miller and Peterson took turns. Good cop, bad cop. Or rather, bad cop and worse cop. "Just tell us where the rest are, Sarah," Miller said, leaning close. "It'll be easier for you." "I don't know what you're talking about," I cried. "I didn't steal anything." Peterson slammed his hand on the table. "Don't lie to us. We found the necklace in your apartment. You think we're stupid?" I was terrified. But a tiny spark of anger started to burn through the fear. How could this be happening? I was innocent. "Someone planted it," I said, my voice shaking. "Someone is trying to frame me." Miller laughed. That same cold, mocking laugh I would hear again in court. "Oh sure, framed. Who'd want to frame little old you, Sarah?" That was the question, wasn't it? Why me? It made no sense. Unless, a memory surfaced. Something I'd almost forgotten. A few days before the diamonds went missing. I'd been working late like I said. I'd gone to the break room to get some water. The door to Mr. Henderson's private meeting room, the one next to his office, was slightly ajar. I heard voices. Mr. Henderson's and another one, deeper, rougher. "Can't keep juggling the books like this, Henderson," the rough voice said. "The feds are sniffing around the port contracts. We need a clean break." I know. Mr. Henderson sounded panicked. "This diamond shipment, it's untraceable. It'll give us the liquidity we need to disappear if things go south. And if anyone gets in the way." A pause. "Then Mr. Henderson, they'll be taken care of. Permanently, if necessary." I hadn't thought much of it then. Just office drama maybe. But now, my mind raced. What if the diamonds weren't stolen by an outsider? What if Mr. Henderson faked the theft? To cash in on insurance, or to hide them from his shady partners? And he needed a scapegoat. Me, easy target. The quiet black girl, no one would miss. No one would fight for. I tried to tell Miller and Peterson. I think my boss, Mr. Henderson, he might be involved. I overheard something. They exchanged a look. Peterson actually rolled his eyes. "So now your boss is a criminal mastermind, and you're the innocent victim who just happened to stumble onto his plan?" Miller scoffed. "Save it for the judge, sweetheart. You're looking at serious time. I got a public defender. Miss Evans." She was young, overworked, but she seemed to listen. I told her everything. About what I overheard, about the diamonds being planted. She sighed. "Sarah, it's your word against theirs. And they have the necklace, found in your apartment. It's a tough case. But it's the truth." I insisted. "The truth doesn't always win in court, Sarah," she said, her voice gentle but firm. "Especially when the other side has all the power." The weeks leading up to the trial were hell. I was out on bail, but barely. My family scraped together everything they had. I lost my job, of course. People I thought were my friends avoided me. The shame was a constant weight. I felt like I was drowning. Every night, I replayed that conversation I overheard. I knew it was important. I just didn't know how to make anyone believe me. I even tried to contact the FBI. I found a local number, called, left a shaky message about potential fraud and corruption at the port, implicating my old company. I mentioned the diamonds, my arrest. I never heard back. Of course not. Why would they listen to me? A person accused of grand larceny. I felt so stupid for even trying. Hope was a dangerous thing. And then came the trial. The prosecutor laid out his case. It sounded damning. The missing diamonds. The necklace in my apartment. My opportunity because I worked late. He painted me as a disgruntled employee, greedy, deceitful. When it was my turn, Miss Evans did her best. She called me to the stand. My voice trembled as I swore to tell the truth. I looked at the jury. Ordinary people. Could they see past the color of my skin? Past the accusations? Could they see the real me? I told my story. I told them about working late. About the conversation I overheard. I told them I believed Mr. Henderson was involved in something illegal, and that he framed me to cover his tracks, or to take the diamonds himself. I explained that the necklace found in my apartment wasn't mine. That it must have been planted. That's when the laughter started. Detective Miller and Officer Peterson. They weren't even trying to hide it. Their shoulders shook. The prosecutor smirked. Even some people in the gallery chuckled. My face burned. Tears pricked my eyes, but I fought them back. I would not cry in front of them. Miss Evans objected. "Your Honor, this is inappropriate." The judge banged his gavel, a bored look on his face. "Officers, control yourselves. Counsel, continue." But there was no force behind his words. The damage was done. My credibility, already fragile, was shattered. Who would believe a fantastic story like mine, when the very officers of the law found it hilarious? I felt a cold dread creep over me. This was it. I was going to prison for something I didn't do. All because I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and because I was an easy person to throw away. My shoulders slumped. The fight just seemed to drain out of me. Miss Evans asked me a few more questions, but my answers were quiet, defeated. The prosecutor began his cross-examination. He was like a shark sensing blood. Miss Johnson, he began, his voice dripping with sarcasm. This elaborate story about your boss and shadowy partners. Did you cook this up before or after you were caught red-handed with the stolen property? It's the truth, I whispered. The truth. He chuckled, and a few jurors cracked small smiles. The truth is you saw an opportunity, you took it, and you got caught. Isn't that right? No. I said a little louder. That's not true. He was about to tear into me again when it happened. The main doors of the courtroom burst open. Bang, everyone jumped. The judge looked furious. What is the meaning of this? Two people strode in. A man and a woman, both dressed in dark, crisp suits. They moved with an air of authority that silenced the room instantly. FBI, the man announced, his voice calm but carrying immense power. Apologies for the interruption, Your Honor. But this is a federal matter. My heart leaped into my throat. The FBI? Here? Now? Detective Miller and Officer Peterson stopped laughing. Their faces went pale. Very pale. Mr. Henderson, who was sitting in the gallery looking smug, suddenly looked like he'd seen a ghost. The female FBI agent stepped forward. She had a file in her hand. Your Honor, we have reason to believe that Sarah Johnson has been wrongfully accused. A gasp went through the courtroom. I could barely breathe. The agent continued, her eyes sweeping over Miller and Peterson, then landing on Mr. Henderson. We've been conducting a long-term investigation into financial crimes and corruption linked to the City Port Authority and several import-export businesses, including Mr. Henderson's. She held up the file. We have evidence, including wiretaps and financial records, that Mr. Henderson, along with accomplices, orchestrated the disappearance of the diamond shipment to defraud insurers and to launder money from illegal port activities. We also have evidence that Detective Miller and Officer Peterson were complicit in framing Miss Johnson, likely under duress, or for financial gain, to silence her after she inadvertently overheard incriminating conversations. My jaw dropped. The message I left, they had listened. Or was this just a miracle? The agent wasn't finished. The necklace found in Miss Johnson's apartment was indeed planted. We have a sworn affidavit from a low-level employee at Mr. Henderson's company, who was coerced into placing it there. He came forward to us 2 days ago, fearing for his own safety after witnessing Miss Johnson's arrest. The courtroom was in stunned silence. I looked at Miss Evans. Her mouth was hanging open. The FBI agent then looked directly at Miller and Peterson. Detective Miller, Officer Peterson, you are under arrest for obstruction of justice, conspiracy, and falsifying evidence. 2 more agents, who had slipped in unnoticed, moved swiftly and cuffed the 2 officers. Their arrogant smirks were long gone, replaced by pure terror. They didn't laugh now. Oh no, there was no laughter now. Only the click of handcuffs. Then the agent turned towards the gallery. Mr. Robert Henderson, you are under arrest for grand larceny, insurance fraud, money laundering and conspiracy. Mr. Henderson tried to bolt, but more agents seemed to materialize out of nowhere, blocking his path. He was cuffed too, shouting about his lawyers, his rights. No one listened. The judge, finally finding his voice, looked completely bewildered. Well, I suppose this changes things. The female FBI agent smiled faintly. Indeed, Your Honor, we request that all charges against Miss Sarah Johnson be dismissed immediately. The prosecutor, who looked like he'd swallowed a lemon, mumbled. The state, sees no reason to object. Your Honor. Case dismissed, the judge said, banging his gavel with a bewildered shake of his head. Dismissed. The word hung in the air. I started to cry then. Not tears of sadness or fear, but of overwhelming relief. It was over. The nightmare was actually over. Miss Evans put her arm around me. You did it, Sarah, she whispered, her own eyes shining. You told the truth, and it finally came through. The female FBI agent approached me after the courtroom cleared a little. "Miss Johnson," she said, her voice much softer now. "I'm Special Agent Davies. Your initial tip, combined with what our informant later told us, helped us connect crucial dots. We were already watching Henderson, but you accelerated everything. We're sorry you had to go through this." My tip? So they had gotten my message. It hadn't been for nothing. "Thank you," I managed to say, my voice thick with emotion. "You saved my life." She gave a small professional nod. "Just doing our job, ma'am. Justice needs to be served, for everyone." Walking out of that courthouse, a free woman, was the most incredible feeling. The sun felt warmer, the air fresher. The weight that had been crushing me for months was finally lifted. It wasn't easy afterwards. The story was all over the news, but this time, I wasn't the villain. I was the woman who had been wronged, the one who had been vindicated. It took time to rebuild my life, to trust again. But I did. I found a new job, in a different city. I made new friends, and I never ever forgot the sound of that laughter in the courtroom. Or the beautiful, powerful silence that followed when the FBI walked in. Sometimes when things get tough, I remember that moment. I remember standing there, feeling so small and helpless, only to have justice arrive in the most unexpected way. It taught me that even when you feel completely alone, even when the world seems stacked against you, there can still be hope. And sometimes, just sometimes, the good guys really do win. My voice, a voice they tried to silence, ended up being part of the chorus that brought down a whole corrupt system. And that's a truth no one can ever laugh away. Wow, what a roller coaster, right? It just goes to show you that truth and courage can make a huge difference, even when things seem impossible. If you were moved by Sarah's story, please give this video a big thumbs up, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. What part of the story resonated with you the most? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next story. And if you know someone who needs to hear a story of hope and justice, please share this video with them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.